Well, good afternoon and welcome to Mondays with Michael Live here on Facebook. Hoping everyone had a great weekend. Getting a little cool here in the Northern Virginia area outside DC. Definitely September weather. I think hopefully the hot stuff is going away, but you never know around here. Never know around here. Get another 90-degree day next week, so you never know. Well, thanks for coming in, hanging out with me today. If you're watching this post session, thanks for watching post session. Today's session is all about creating a coaching culture within your organization. So I've read some articles recently how coaching is kind of a thing now. For those who are in the HR training space, you know that coaching was a thing about 15 years ago, was a thing for a long time. Then it kind of went away for a while. But coaching is a thing again, and creating a coaching culture in your organization, I'm finding it's more and more important. We're getting more and more calls about coaching, more executive coaching. We're hearing some stories about some of these millennials who would like to get some more input and feedback from their bosses. So how do you create a coaching culture in your organization? So I'm going to give you a few tips on what we do as far as our coaching program, some things you may want to think about. But as always, this starts at the top of the organization. So, you know, senior management, senior leaders need to feel that a coaching culture is valuable into their organization. And my hope is that they do. We work with a lot of clients that feel coaching is a very, very important part of their organization. So how do we establish a coaching program for an executive? So in our case, when we take on a coaching client at the executive level, it's more of a program. So it starts small, maybe works itself big. So we start our coaching programs with feedback about that executive and how the folks that work around them are feeling about their skills, their attitude, their behavior. So we do an electronic 360 assessment. We also do face-to-face interviews of those who work around them. Now, we can do that kind of stuff because we're outside the organization, but you know, I do work with a lot of internal coaches who also can do the same. They don't work every day with the executive, but they find a way to do this kind of multi-rater feedback, which kind of gives you the baseline for the coaching program. So based on what we see in the coaching program, the coaching feedback from the assessment and the interviews, we create a coaching program for the executive. It's usually over several months period of time. Ours is a skill building coaching program, so we want to enhance skill. And not no disrespect to my friends who do life coaching and other types of coaching, all important. But ours is a skill-based program. We want leaders to listen better, to work better on teams, to lead better, to communicate better. We want them to be more personable in the organization, if you will. Over the years, we've taken on some coaching clients that have, as the clients will tell me, they just don't play nice in the sandbox. So how do we get leaders and executives to play nice in the sandbox? So we start on a path of skill building. Coaching clients that we take on have access to me 24/7. So I like to talk to them regularly outside of the coaching session just to check in and see how things are doing. I do give homework. We do give homework when we coach executives. So we want to find out how that homework is applying. If we're seeing there's a situation they're going to go into, they want to talk about it, they want to debrief that situation. So we become kind of their 24/7 support, if you will, during the coaching program. As I said, we usually give homework. It's usually little things to try to test the skill building so they can come back to the session good to go. Now, you can also do this internally. So if you have an internal coach or if there's a supervisor who wants to be a coach, you can do this internally. It takes a little more time to get folks to kind of feel that they're comfortable with this process, but you can do this as an internal coach also, or an HR director. We work with HR directors that are part-time coaches for their senior teams and executives. So we do coaching for a while. Now, coaching can go on for a while. In our case, coaching eventually ends. So our coaching program ends with another electronic 360 and some more interviews. We want to assess the change in the executive over a course of time. So we assess back to the same group, hopefully, that we assessed the first time, so we can show the client and the organization that Mary or Joe has made some progress along the coaching program. If you're internal, this coaching program may go on for a while. It may go on once a month, once every other week for a while. And if it's a structured coaching program that an executive is going through, it may be all the time. We work with clients over the years where every executive has a coach. As I said, it was a thing at one time. And whether that coach is internal or external, executive have coaches all the time. And that program is a little different because it may not be spent as much time on skill as it is on other things in the organization. So that's for executives. And what about frontline staff? Can you coach frontline staff, and can you create a coaching culture with supervisors with the mass population? And the answer to that question is yes. Obviously, it will take a little more time. Obviously, it will take some training. Now, we do have, and I'm going to put a link here. If you're watching this or you're watching this, there'll be a link at the end of this Mondays with Michael in the comment section of a coaching program that we use to teach managers, supervisors, how to be a coach. Because let's be honest, not every supervisor knows how to, understands the importance of, has ever practiced being a coach. So we run a half-day program. We can do it virtually now. That just teaches supervisors how to be a coach. And we put in front of them a coaching model that has worked over the years. There's some video vignettes we show in the classroom. There's some skill practice along the way. But it's very, very important for frontline supervisors to learn how to be a coach, the importance of being a coach, and then how to be a coach ongoing. Now, there are a couple things you can do with coaching. I mean, from the old school, Blanchard or whatnot says that everybody's a coach and there's always real-time coaching. So if we get into a situation with a direct report and you think it's a coaching moment, then you can have a coaching session right there real time. Tough to do these days because you're not walking in someone's office and having a coaching session. You're basically in a group online. So unless you schedule a coaching session with an individual, you're probably just not going to breeze through their Zoom meeting and say, hey, coaching time, or pop in their office like you would pre-COVID. So my suggestion is at least for the foreseeable future, if you want to be a coaching supervisor and you want to have a coaching relationship with your employees, is you're going to need to schedule coaching sessions. And these aren't just check-in sessions about how the work was going, because those are important too, or it could be part of that. You're going to need to actually set up a skill-building, ongoing coaching program to help your direct report enhance in skill, enhance some technical skills if they need some, definitely some people skills, work on a career path, and coach them up to that career path. This is, again, not a check-in to see how the work's going or to see how the project's going. This is totally focused on the skill building of the person that reports directly to you. Now, that said, you can try to have some real-time coaching. I mean, if you're in a meeting with a couple, your team, and you're the boss, and you see that Mary or Joe is having a tough time figuring some stuff out, ping them off to the side, say, I think this may be a good time for us to just chat real quick after the meeting or tomorrow morning, and have kind of a real-time coaching session with that individual. Try to describe the problem, come up with some solutions, agree on a solution, because if you don't agree, there really is no solution, and then put a time frame in place to check progress on that solution. And again, we teach this model in the training program. It's very, very important that you stay focused and you really focus on the skill or the behavior of the employee you're trying to change. And don't put it off. We work with a lot of managers over the years. They come to our coaching program and they're like, Michael, I just can't have this conversation with this employee, because anytime I have this conversation, it becomes a fight. Well, you may be approaching that conversation wrong. So I would start at the beginning, focus on the skill, focus on the behavior, right? Or maybe even focus on the attitude, because there could be an attitude problem. And try to keep it professional on the skill, the attitude, or the behavior. Sometimes you may need to involve HR, and that's okay. That may be more of a discipline issue. But over the course of time, as you become a better coach, your employees will realize that you're coaching. It's not discipline. You're there to help them. You're there to enhance their skill, enhance their learning, and they'll look at it as a positive. There are employees we work with that say, hey, I got my coaching session next Tuesday at 1 o'clock for an hour. My boss is going to be focused on me, my skills, my professional development for the next hour. How cool is that? So eventually you're going to create this coaching culture where everybody knows they get coaching time. So those are my thoughts on coaching today. I'm going to put a link wherever you're watching this. There'll be a link to the coaching program we use in the classroom. Happy to chat with you about that. But I think that's about it for today. We're going to be live again next week. We're going to be live again for a while, so feel free to pop in. This is Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook. Make it a great week. Don't forget to coach.